Alright, here we go. In this video I'm going to be talking about and showing laying out the chassis and drilling it and getting it ready for all the parts that go in it. As far as making amps go, laying out the chassis is very important and it takes time. But once it's done, and the build only gets more exciting as we go. So let's get started. This is just an easy way of reminding myself when I'm first laying out the chassis so I don't get confused or mixed up accidentally when I'm flipping this thing all around and start drilling on the wrong side or something like that, because that can happen. So I just put a piece of tape, that's where the power switch is going to go, inputs, power tubes on this side, preamp on that side. That way when I get going I can just not have to worry about that. And the next thing I do is lay some things down on the back here. I got the turret board, which is going to be off center, giving me more room for the tube sockets. So these ones will probably be somewhere around 2 1/4 center to center. I'm still going to rearrange these a little. These are not the final measurements, but to get an idea of where I want them. I'm doing all this to actually find out where I'm going to put the power transformer. That's what I am going to drill out first. It's going to be this orientation in line with the turret board, and that's what I'm getting started with. Tube sockets will be the second thing, and there's chassis punches or step bits. I haven't decided. Here's the progress on the power transformer. I got the holes drilled for the screws, and now I'm just going through with the square, putting tape on the very outside of the holes. Now that I've got it taped off, I'm going to go and cut between the holes with this Dremel. I might have to go through a few of these cut-off wheels, but that's fine. I've got the hole cut out. It's looking good. And moving forward. Trying a few things. So I got marks kind of all over the place, but I finally settled on what I was going to do. So I got it taped off and everything center punched. I laid this out using a ruler and a square to get the distance between and the distance from the edge of the chassis. Everything nice and square, straight. Should look good. Let's hope so. Just a side note, when I use the step bits, I drill a pilot hole with a normal drill bit to the diameter. That's 1/4 inch. So I'll just use a regular drill bit on the drill press and get them all this size. I got the tube socket, the main holes drilled out. Here's a quick flyover. Took my time, and I still got to take my time and drill the little holes that hold the tube sockets in place tomorrow. Now that the holes for the tube sockets are finished, it's time to start working on the back of the chassis. I'm going to be starting with this. It's going to go right in between 2 tube sockets. So I'm going to get this done first. Then I'm actually going to put the fuse up here. It's not going to be right in the middle, it's going to be up here. It's actually a good spot for it because it'll keep it out of the way from what's happening on the inside. So I'm going to get these things cut and drilled, and then go ahead and finish drilling out the back of this chassis. Okay, still working on the back. I've already drilled out the fuse, the IEC receptacle, and the speaker 8 ohm speaker jack. I was just going to show you what I do. Once I decide where on the left and right, where I want, this is going to be a switch. I will draw a line with the pencil and then mark it. This is a 2-inch chassis, so I'm marking it with that white mark right at 1 inch, so it's right in the middle. And then center punch through the tape. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. Center punched. These 4 are ready to be drilled. If I leave the tape on, it's harder for me to see, and the drill bit tends to want to walk a little more with the tape on. So next thing I'm going to do is actually remove the tape in this section, hit them again with the center punch, and then pilot the holes with probably an 1/8 inch drill bit, and then drill them to their final size. Alright, so the back of this thing is looking pretty good. You got the fuse, power cord, speaker, negative feedback switch, foot switch, reverb, RCA. And that's pretty much the process. It's just a lot of marking, laying out, and drilling. And next is the front. Okay, I got the front of the chassis drilled out and test fitted some things. So we got volume, treble, middle, bass, reverb, high and low, pilot light, on off. There's no standby on this one. There's no need for one. I did this exactly like I did the back, as far as tape on the front, figure out how far apart I want everything, and then using the square, just putting the lines that way, and then coming back and marking the center of those lines, and that's where the center punch goes. So it's actually pretty simple, but it's the front, so you want everything to be straight, that's for sure. And you just want to take into account the distance between the knobs. Using these chicken heads, I'm going to use a different color probably, but using these chicken heads, you just got to take into account that they have clearance. I'm going to come up with something for this space. I make my own face plates. I forgot to mention, these are the switches I'm going to be using. It's a Carling single pull double throw. I use these for all my switches, as far as the on off, if there was a standby, anything. I use these. The reason I use them is, well, they're more versatile. You can use them as a single pull, single throw very easily, but it's the length of the toggle I like. It's shorter. Compared to a single Carling single pull, single throw, look at the length of the toggle. I don't like having this much sticking out. I can keep a lower profile in the front using these. These are my go-to. These are what I use. I love these switches. And that's what that is. Everything is where I want it. What I have left to drill are the holes for output transformer, reverb driver, and then the holes for the wires for both of those, and the holes for the turret board, and also for my grounding lugs. And that should do it. I'm coming down the home stretch with this thing. Just test fitting the main turret board. This is very straightforward as far as you put it where you want it. I drilled the holes in this first, then marked the chassis and drilled the chassis. And this thing is not going anywhere. I try to make these things as solid as possible. I don't want anything to vibrate loose when it's all together. So this thing should be rock solid by the time I'm all done. So all that is left is to get this filter cap board put in place, holes drilled, and I've already done the output transformer and the reverb driver, along with the holes for the wires for the transformers. The only thing after this little board are the grounding lugs, and it is all done. So drilling out your chassis is kind of like doing dishes. Every time you turn around, there's more. So almost ready for the next step, which will be getting the faceplates done, getting the turrets installed in the boards. So all I'm going to do is put this where I want it, drill the holes on the board first, mark the chassis, drill the chassis, test fit. You just have to take into account everything. For instance, this transformer is sticking out probably to here. I've got to make sure I don't have the holes interfering with the transformer. So it's going to be more like here, 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 and here, which will be fine. For the spacers that go in between, I make my own out of copper. I have a copper pipe, and I cut them and round the edges, get them all nice at a little less than 1/2 inch. So I'm going to go ahead and get this thing mounted, get the ground lugs drilled, and this thing is done. Alright, the chassis is done. It is all drilled, every last bit. Just test fitting the boards. These will look much better once they're populated with the components. I just laid these tube sockets in to give an idea. It'll start to look like a real amp soon. I mounted the transformers in these boards just to make sure nothing was conflicting. Everything fits. It's going to work out really well. So it's time to move on to getting the turrets and the turret boards, getting the faceplates done. And once the faceplates are done and the turrets are ready to roll, I can solder this amp up. I think this amp is going to turn out pretty nice and sound really good. Excited about it. Next video will be about getting the turrets in the turret boards and getting going on these faceplates. If you're still watching this, feel free to comment, like, and subscribe, and stay tuned for next week's video. I will see you next time. Take care out there.